Okay, so remember my theory? Yeah. Let's put it to the test. Let me show you something. Right here, you have the redone starter engine. And we all remember the fantastic noise it made when it said, right? And it started just grinding teeth with the old starter engine. Now, let's try and engage this and see what happens. If my theory is wrong, we will just say, and that'll be it. I'll just stop at that. I'll just stop. But if it actually runs over, starts up, yeah, or at least the engine starts running. Doesn't run, but you know what I mean, right? Then my theory worked, and we have figured out exactly what the problem was. So let's give it a shot. Well, ignition, and let's try and see what's what. See? Wow. So now we know that for now the flywheel will do, so I can continue on working on the engine, and when I'm done with that, I can take off the starter engine again. I can take off the transmission, and we can start on doing the flywheel, and everything needs to be done at that. I have a problem. I can get the engine started, and I can get it started in idle. And it's smoking quite a bit. Sorry, it is smoking quite a bit. And I've had issues before with something like this, and it's usually because of the carburetor, the fuel-air ratio, blah, blah, blah. Very fancy words, but it gets too much fuel or it gets too much air, right? So that needs to be perfectly balanced. And that's done in a carburetor. Let me show you my findings. Well, first of all, I bought, of course, a kit, a rebuilding kit for the carburetor. It's a Zenic Week 30. Let me show something. This is a Zenic carburetor kit. Well, obviously you can read. And this tells you exactly what's what, right? And if we flip this over, you'll have a good idea about what's in the kit. Everything that's marked in highlighted is, of course, in the kits. And when you look at it, you'll look and say, well, this looks pretty much like this one. Let's just take this off. We don't need that right now. Off we go. Right. So, well, this looks like it. And, well, yeah, it does. But I could never get the damn thing running. Well, I could get it running, but when I tried to give it a little bit more gas, it just stalled and started smoking quite a bit. So, I started looking at the carburetor again. And I found something very interesting. You see, this here is a bowl. In here, the bowl, you have fuel coming in. There's a filter in here, very small one, very nice. Fills up the bowl. You have a floater in here, and you have a stop in here. So when the fuel level gets to here, whatever, it'll just stop. So it just doesn't pour in fuel in the carburetor. But if you notice, there's what is that? That, my friends, is a very good way to get false air. Yes, it is. And I was wondering, is this something I've missed or what? And I was like, is there supposed to be a gasket here? And as I'm looking at the kit once again, and well, there's a gasket right there, and that has been changed out. I mean, everything in this has, of course, been cleaned out. But where is there's no gasket here? So, well, the first thing would be obviously, well, then no, there is probably no gasket there. However, I am quite weird. So I found myself an old, very spent carburetor, just the same as this one. And I took it apart. And let's go and have a look, see what's what. We'll just bring this along. this here fantastic. Well, first of all, it's a wonderful kit, really. There's a lot of things here it's a good kit. However, it's not complete. And why is that, you say? Well, because here we have, swoosh, another carburetor. Also a WIC 3, where you have the vacuum connecting pipe to the distributor. I'll show it in a different video. And here you have the stop, the fuel stop, right on the filter right there, blah, blah, blah. And I was looking at it, and I took it apart, and I looked at it and said, well, what the hell is this? This looks like there's a bloody gasket. But it says here there should be none, right? So once again, I looked at it, and I looked at the ball, and what do you know? Well, this is no longer a gasket, this is a cracker, but if I can get this looped, for instance, and try to see if I can put that on, perhaps that would be enough to seal it again and make it run smoother. Or at least I can measure how much this is, and now I know that there is a gasket between here and the ball. Well, many headaches have been solved right now, hopefully. Right, see? Down there. But in fact, there's one right there. Okay. Now for now, I'll see if I can get this done and put that on the new carburetor. Well, it's not new, just redone. And I'll get this fixed and sorted out as well, so I have a spare one. That'll be great. Right, cheerio. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this sound like if it's sucking in false air? And what do I actually mean when it's smoky and it doesn't really run that well? Well, let's do this. Let's show you. Flip the switch. She started off. Right, as you hear right now, she's actually running pretty good. But listen. You hear that sucking noise? Yeah. Right? So if I give it a little bit of gas, if I try to, here, nothing happens. Right? More air will be sucked in, different places than it's supposed to be. And let's have a look at the exhaust pipe. Well, right now there's not smoke that much, but it's because it's, I don't know, usually it does. It's unbearable being in here. But we can see if there's anything coming out here. See? Yeah, so the fuel air ratio is not correct. And you saw it. What we did is try to give it a bit more gas. Blah, almost dying instantly. Right, I'm gonna cut off, but now I know what I mean. And you've seen it and you heard about it, right? Okay. We're done. Right. Smoky in here, well. Okay, so right now my gasket here is marinating, and you can see that it's actually bubbling a little bit. So I'm hoping that the cracker here will be a little bit more soft. I'm not sure, but then at least I have some measuring points that I can measure this and do my own gasket, right? But this will have to be coming on right between here. Well, there's the lamp. That's much better. There we can see what's going on. It's coming in right between there, in that crack in the middle there, right? So the entire housing. Well, I explained this once more. Well, let's just do one more, just you know. So let me get this done. So this entire house, the bowl, as they call it, the fuel bowl, will eventually become a little bit further back, and this gap will be filled, or will be, well, there's a gasket between here, and that's the one marinating right now. And then let's try again, and let's see what happens when we give it a little bit more gas. Then hopefully it will have the engine revving up. So, well, that's it. Let's do that.